Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 20th episode of our podcast series, Power Dynamics Unveiled. I'm your host, and today we're diving into Law 19 from Robert Greene's profound work, The 48 Laws of Power. Know who you vet We're dealing with do not offend the wrong. Law 19, as Robert Greene articulates, urges us to know who you are dealing with and to avoid offending the wrong person. At its essence, this law is about strategic awareness. Greene argues that every interaction involves navigating a web of personalities, agendas, and power dynamics. Misjudge someone's influence, insecurities, or connections, and you risk making an enemy who can derail your plans. Conversely, understanding who holds power and respecting their position can protect and advance your interests. When I first encountered this law, I was early in my career, working in a fast-paced corporate environment. I made the mistake of underestimating a quiet colleague, assuming their reserved demeanor meant they lacked influence. I voiced a critical opinion about a project they supported, thinking it wouldn't matter. To my surprise, they had the ear of senior leadership. My careless words cost me credibility and strained key relationships. Reading Law 19 was a turning point. It taught me to look beyond appearances and assess people's true influence before acting. Greene's historical examples, like courtiers navigating royal courts or diplomats avoiding diplomatic blunders, illustrate this principle vividly. Missteps in those high-stakes environments often led to exile or worse. Greene emphasizes that people are not always what they seem. Some wield hidden power, while others project strength to mask weakness. He writes, "To offend an inferior is foolish, but to offend a superior is fatal." The challenge lies in discerning who's who. To deepen this insight, let's turn to an expert perspective. Psychologist Daniel Goleman, known for his work on emotional intelligence, highlights the importance of social awareness. Understanding others' feelings, perspectives, and status is critical for navigating social situations effectively. Goleman's concept of social radar aligns with Law 19, underscoring that power depends on reading people accurately and acting with foresight. Why is Law 19 relevant today? In our interconnected, diverse world, interactions are more complex than ever. Whether you're negotiating a deal, collaborating on a project, or engaging online, you're constantly dealing with people whose influence or sensitivities may not be immediately apparent. A single misstep, say, a poorly worded email or an offhand comment, can escalate into a professional or social setback. Law 19 equips you to navigate these interactions with care, ensuring you don't alienate those who matter. Reflecting on my journey, I've seen how discernment can shift outcomes. After my early misstep, I began paying closer attention to the dynamics around me. In one instance, I was pitching a project to a new client. Instead of diving straight into my proposal, I took time to research their background, values, and connections. I learned they valued collaboration and had ties to a key industry figure. By tailoring my pitch to emphasize teamwork and name-dropping their associate respectfully, I won their trust and the contract. Law 19 showed me that power isn't just about what you say, but who you say it to and how. This law applies across contexts. In workplaces, understanding your colleagues' roles and influence can guide your interactions. In personal relationships, recognizing others' emotional triggers helps you avoid unnecessary conflict. Even in digital spaces, where anonymity can obscure power dynamics, Law 19 reminds you to tread carefully. As anthropologist Mary Douglas noted, every social interaction is shaped by hierarchies, visible or invisible. Knowing who you're dealing with helps you navigate these hierarchies without stumbling. So, how can you apply Law 19 in your life without becoming paranoid or overly cautious? Drawing from Greene's wisdom and my own experiences, here are some strategies to hone your discernment. As you, our listeners, prefer a narrative flow, I'll present these conversationally. Begin by observing before acting. Take time to assess the people around you, their roles, connections, and behavior. When I joined a new team, I spent the first few weeks listening more than speaking. I noticed who others deferred to, who controlled resources, and who had subtle influence despite a low profile. This reconnaissance helped me tailor my interactions, ensuring I didn't step on powerful toes. Observation is like gathering intelligence. It equips you to act strategically. Another approach is to ask questions and listen actively. People reveal their priorities, insecurities, and influence through what they say and what they don't. In a recent negotiation, I asked open-ended questions about my counterpart's goals and challenges. Their responses hinted at their close relationship with a decision-maker, prompting me to adjust my approach to align with their interests. Active listening builds rapport while uncovering critical insights. You can also research your environment. Before entering a new setting, whether a job, a social group, or a public platform, dig into its dynamics. Check LinkedIn profiles, read group chats, or ask trusted contacts for context. When I started freelancing, I researched potential clients' backgrounds and networks. This preparation helped me avoid pitching to someone whose influence could backfire if offended. Knowledge is your shield against missteps. Finally, practice emotional restraint. Law 19 isn't just about avoiding offense, it's about choosing your battles. If you sense someone has power or connections, hold back on criticism or confrontation unless it's essential. I once refrained from challenging a colleague's idea in a meeting, suspecting they had sway with our boss. Later, I learned they did, and my restraint preserved a valuable alliance. As Greene advises, discretion is the better part of valor. A word of balance. Discernment doesn't mean pandering to everyone. Law 19 is about prioritizing those with influence or potential to harm you. Be respectful, but don't sacrifice your authenticity. As leadership expert Amy Edmondson cautions, strategic awareness should enhance your effectiveness, not compromise your integrity. To enrich our understanding, let's explore how Law 19 intersects with psychology, anthropology, and negotiation theory. These fields illuminate why discernment is a universal principle of power. In psychology, Law 19 aligns with the concept of theory of mind, the ability to understand others' intentions, beliefs, and emotions. Psychologists like Simon Baron-Cohen argue that strong theory of mind enables better social navigation. By reading people's cues, tone, body language, or alliances, you can anticipate their reactions and avoid offending those with power. Law 19 operationalizes this skill, turning it into a strategic tool for influence. Anthropology offers another perspective through the lens of status and hierarchy. Anthropologist Pierre Bourdieu, his concept of its symbolic capital, suggests that power often lies in intangible assets like reputation or connections. Misjudging someone's symbolic capital, say, underestimating a quiet influencer, can lead to social penalties. Law 19 encourages you to map these hierarchies carefully, ensuring you respect those with hidden capital. In negotiation theory, Law 19 echoes the principle of stakeholder analysis. Negotiation expert Roger Fisher, co-author of Getting to Yes, emphasized identifying key players and their interests before engaging. By knowing who holds leverage, you can tailor your approach to avoid alienating them. Greene's law applies this principle to everyday interactions, where every conversation is a subtle negotiation. Applying Law 19 comes with challenges. Discernment requires time and emotional energy, especially in fast-paced or unfamiliar settings. I've struggled with this during high-pressure projects, where I didn't have the luxury of observing or researching. In those moments, I've relied on intuition and cautious neutrality to avoid missteps, but it's not foolproof. Ethically, Law 19 can feel like a tightrope. Prioritizing powerful people risks reinforcing unfair hierarchies or sidelining those with less influence. Greene's pragmatic tone sometimes overlooks this tension. My approach is to balance respect for power with fairness. I strive to treat everyone with dignity, but I'm strategic about where I direct my energy. As philosopher Immanuel Kant advised, act so that you treat humanity, whether in your own person or in others, always as an end and never as a means only. Ethical discernment means valuing people while navigating power dynamics thoughtfully. As we wrap up this 20th episode of Power Dynamics Unveiled, I hope you'd have gained a deeper appreciation for Law 19 and its call to know who you were dealing with. Through my own experiences, I've learned that misjudging people can derail your goals, while discernment can open doors and protect your interests. By observing, listening, researching, and practicing restraint, you can navigate complex social landscapes without offending the wrong person. We've also seen how Law 19 resonates with psychology, anthropology, and negotiation theory, reinforcing its timeless wisdom. Experts like Goleman, Bourdieu, and Fisher remind us that power hinges on understanding others' roles and influence. But discernment must be wielded ethically, with respect for all. Use Law 19 to enhance your strategic awareness, not to manipulate or exclude. Thank you for joining me on this journey through Robert Greene's The 48 Laws of Power. If this episode sparked insights, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop a comment below. Have you ever misjudged someone's influence or used discernment to your advantage? I'd love to hear your stories. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore Law 20. Do not commit to anyone. Until then, keep navigating the world with wisdom and strategy.